That was like in the 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Really gotta figure out how Discord works.
Yeah, you probably should.
Yeah, I just get overwhelmed every time I open Discord. I just think it's like my boomer genes.
His voice is like way better than other like online like quality seems a lot better than like Hangouts or anything else I've used.
I went Hangout, Skype, Discord. That's how I went.
Honestly, like, Discord has always worked the best.
Upgrade. Yeah, it has.
Video streaming usually doesn't have as good quality, but it's
I
generally
was here
reliable.
pre-Nitro. Get on my level. Hey, Cognize.
Yes.
What if we just all called Cognize Think?
But why?
Because they're basically the same thing. Uh-oh, stream. Oh.
Oh wow, it's a party now.
Oh my god, there's so many people. What if I streamed my terminal? That would be really interesting. I'm sure.
What if I stream
too
my
many
terminal?
people, so I cannot stream.
Oh shoot, I'm in Haskell right now. Alright.
Hey, Squitter.
Imagine using imperative programming.
Pair programming. Pair programming is the reason I don't know how to do my CS.
Imperative. That's like any
That's functional.
Yeah, I like functional programming right now.
What language?
Haskell.
Nice.
Elm if I'm on the front end.
I'm glad.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Bruh, everyone's in here. It's like a full thing.
I just got a DM that Amjad was in the VC, and I joined immediately.
Nice.
What's up, man?
What are the hoot boots?
I love how the only warning I've got is just for speaking Spanish.
Okay,
I think I have no warnings on Hoot Boot. Maybe like one warning on Dino.
Hoot Boot. More like I don't know what it's more like. I was gonna think of something.
Boot more like coronavirus.
I have a lot of unread DMs, so I've declared bankruptcy. And I don't know.
Check out some DMs from Super Whiskers. She wanted feedback on
so much
something.
Freaking notification about my water polo.
Ferris, is that you? Yeah.
This is a
oh my
very
god,
big
there is so
No!
Ow.
I'm Hoot Boot.
Oh, the newsletter.
People are donating food for students. That makes sense.
Wow.
Amjad, can I ask a question about the enterprise teams thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just curious, how is that going to work, like logistically for the user?
So, I think kind of like GitHub organizations. So you can like, if you're an open source team, you can sign up for an org, and you can collaborate. But then if you're like a company and you want private, sure,
there basically is. What if Repl.it had like Git integration, so you could just Git pull from a REPL? That'd be neat.
Yeah, I mean, so Mason was actually building something he's calling merge request, where you can like merge a REPL into a REPL.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool. All right, when's the newsletter coming out? Mickey, tongue stick out.
Oh, by the way, school is closed for 2 weeks because of quarantine.
It closes Monday, and it didn't say when it was coming back, but it would probably be.
Yeah, Repl.it is closed. We're about to shut down all the
Yeah,
servers.
no, your school also should also be closed.
Hey Amjad, are people still coming into Repl.it HQ despite coronavirus?
No, almost nobody's there. So we have a policy to help #flatten the curve.
Nice.
And But Ferris is there. I think I just has a death wish.
What if I just close
Yeah.
Hi, Frost.
the channel right now?
Hey.
I could do it. I could do V exclamation point close, and it would. Everyone would be
So
kicked out.
I was talking earlier about potentially like running this promo or campaign for teachers who want to like teach remotely about Repl.it. Do you guys have any ideas of like how to target them?
Yes, you could ask students, like Repl.it users, if they're part of a school that has a CS program, or it's like a teacher who's involved in some kind of computer science or like web development team or something. You could ask that teacher to join, or like just tell them about it. Give the people with this a flyer or something, you know?
Yeah, I'm just working on Albert.io right now on my AP CSP. It's kind of annoying because the AP pseudocode is so bad.
Oh, Albert. Okay.
Amjad, you could
Yeah.
you could put for the teachers, you could put like a thing in on Repl.it in the newsletter where you
Yeah.
can put a teacher's email, and then it like sends them a thing saying that your that student's Repl.it user like has suggested that they use Repl.it for programming during this coronavirus
Yeah.
or something, and then it would feel more personalized.
All right.
Yeah.
Viral
Like
marketing.
those pre-written like petition things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we should like do a separate email from the newsletter and like give them a discount on classrooms. Although we're trying like not to promote classrooms too much. But I think it might be
The
useful
only
in this
person in
case.
Toast Room is mad and he's muted.
That reminds me,
Amjad,
like,
Amjad.
there have been lots of people on Repl Talk who have, like, automatic grading for more languages and stuff.
Yeah, I know. So here's what our plan is to release Teams and then add education features into Teams and then deprecate Classroom and move everyone into Teams. The reason Classrooms kind of like suck now because like it's old code that we haven't touched since like 2017. And
It looks like it too.
yeah, and it kind of we're just like we're ashamed of it. But it has like 200,000 students a month or something like that.
200,000?
Well,
Yeah.
what you could do is just, like, keep it where it is for now, but then, like, update it, or work on something else, and then just transfer everything to that without, like, having weird issues, because that's popular on other websites.
Yeah, that's true.
Mr. Amjad, what are you doing to facilitate all the students of Repl.it classrooms who are trying to submit projects on Repl Talk?
For a moment.
What do you mean?
I don't.
I've
That
seen it
is
so many
probably one
times.
of my biggest pet peeves on
Yeah.
Repl Talk. And
People
when
try and use it
teachers
to
try to
submit.
post their assignments on it.
Yeah.
So people are trying to like post their programs from the classroom.
Yes.
Yeah, like they try submitting it, or teachers will say, "Hey, students, submit here," and it's just kind of annoying.
Wait, can you link me to one of those threads?
Maybe it's not clear that it's a forum.
Yeah, I think that, well, because people don't even post in the right sections half the time, so I don't think that students and teachers would see it any differently.
Yeah, that's the other thing about the challenge about running our website right now. It's kind of like it feels like a bit like we have two audiences, like the teachers and then the everyone else, the developers, you guys. And that's why we try to section off the teachers so that they like don't spread the lameness on the site.
Oh, idea.
Town hall now.
Amjad, what
What's
if you moved all the classrooms to a classroom subdomain, which would then like remove features from the UI of that subdomain, such as Repl Talk?
Yeah, because like there are teachers who are asking if like certain features could be disabled for students because they used it to cheat or whatever.
Well, so how many of you guys actually came to Repl.it through Repl.it Classroom?
No.
I didn't, but I do have a teacher that used it, and I was in the class.
There are some active users that we really care about, they came through Repl.it Classroom. So
Oh,
yeah, so we're not entirely like it's not it's still useful as like a I don't know like a growth
I mean,
product.
it seems cool, but I
Well,
mean, I was
I've
just
also seen some
I have a
people.
question for you.
where everyone just kind of did their own things. And
I've also
forums
seen
is
people
cool,
who
but-
don't seem to like Repl.it from classrooms. People who are like frustrated to do their assignments and don't seem to appreciate CS, posting about their frustrations on Repl Talk, which is kind of distressing for multiple reasons.
Yeah, that's
But
true. We see
I
a
think,
lot of people that associate us with
yeah,
with that kind of stress because
it's a shame.
huge delay.
Yeah, but that's why I think it would be a good idea to move Repl.it Classroom to a subdomain. So then students who are really enjoying Repl.it could like just click on it and find out about the main page from Repl.it Classroom, but wouldn't get them confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Masid, I have a question.
Yeah.
Did we ever notify the Microsoft Teams program about our classroom change?
Yeah. So I'm talking to them now. So the deal on that is that they were actually abusing our system. So the K through 12 program, which gives classroom for free for K through 12 schools, is made for K through 12 schools. If you're a Microsoft employee, you should pay. And so Microsoft was applying as if they're a K through 12 public school.
I'm not 100% sure Microsoft is a K through 12 public school.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
I mean, I would totally go to Microsoft school.
I would.
Yeah.
Make me use Windows.
You.
So then, what do you think's gonna happen if they just like don't care that you're angry that they're abusing the system?
Oh no, we charge them. I just send them an invoice for $10,000.
Visual Basic.
Whoa,
and
$10,000?
Yeah, they're gonna pay $10,000.
Paul,
Did they pay
do you
it?
understand what?
They're about to. I just send
Do
them
you
an invoice
understand
and
what
we'll
I'm
see.
talking with?
Oh, okay.
Well,
Oh,
So-
Mr. Ramjad, can I interview you for like just a couple minutes later
For what?
for like a news thing?
What?
Didn't Amjad already have like a mini interview on Repl Talk?
He's had like 3, hasn't he?
I don't remember.
News thing.
But anyways,
Don't mind me tweeting at Amjad. Alright.
so what's the coolest thing that's been built on Repl.it recently?
I like that OS. I thought that was kind of neat.
Polyglot.
Yeah.
Polyglot.
I don't know. I don't use
Yeah.
it.
Polyglot
I
is
just kinda
definitely
use it
one of
to
the
host
best
my code.
things.
Yeah.
Polyglot.
And with VNC thingy for GUI REPLs.
I like the .replit thing too because it's easier than a polyglot a lot of the time, and it like I don't know, it just seems nicer.
I'm gonna be right back.
Hey Amjad, are you planning to add are there any plans to add processing Java, non-processing JavaScript?
What's that?
Are there any plans to add processing Java to the languages?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I think
Actually,
processing
it
Java
should work, right?
Yeah, it
Have-
shouldn't
have
be
you-
bad. You just well, you can actually use processing Java in normal Java, but with a couple syntactic modifications.
But that's the thing. I've seen some people posting on the talk, pasting their processing Java code into regular Repls, and then complaining about it not working. And with as many languages as Repl.it supports, it's kind of painful to tell them that Repl.it doesn't support the language.
Yeah, I think processing would be a good thing because I know
Language?
like
Yeah, it's a deviation of Java. DM me, I'm Griffey with the G logo, and I'll tell you more about it later.
Okay.
yeah, but I know I learned a lot of my coding from nice. I learned a lot of my coding from Coding Train, who does a lot of processing stuff.
I
Yeah,
started
I
on
learned
Khan
mine from
Academy.
Ooh, Khan Academy.
Yeah, I
So,
started.
We'll
I
probably
did-
add a
template for this type of things instead of adding like a new language?
Well, I think Java processing really introduced syntax. I think that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
It
okay.
does.
I ended up actually teaching myself Java processing because I already knew processing JS, and I didn't even look because I didn't know guides existed, but I somehow figured it out.
So if you just
Guides
it
are a
seems like
lot.
it would be cool if there was a way to have the community add languages. Like if I mean,
Oh yeah.
Like
you
custom
can.
polygon images.
API.
I think you
but,
can
like,
do that right now. If you send
Yeah.
a PR to the
Yeah.
Yeah, so what actually we're gonna do soon, and it's better than adding a language, is that templates are now showing up in the language list. So if you click in the new REPL, and like start searching, you'll see templates. So what we're gonna do is that allow you to contribute templates, and then you can easily it'll show up as a language.
Yeah, but a lot of the times, when I have to start up a language in a polyglot REPL, the REPL will time out before the language files even install.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What do you mean by that? Like, what times out? Like,
I don't know. It just freezes. The REPL freezes, and
maybe it's trying to download a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
is.
I do have to download the program and everything, but when I have to install the packages and stuff, I don't know. Like if I'm trying to do, I need to use the Rust package manager thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll probably wind up adding a PR to UPM and fix that later, but right now I'm just adding a .repl.it and doing cargo install or whatever, and it takes 10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh god.
Thanks a lot, Ease.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, share this and bugs and tag nation, Turbia.
So what about custom plugins?
Oh yeah, custom plugin. Who asked this question? I was just reading Scoder, and I don't think he's, because he would have a German accent or something like that.
Remember when there were developer spotlights or whatever? Are those still going on?
So no, and part of the reason is because we don't have a full-time community manager. So we
Oh, you don't? What happened to the Enigma?
So he's not
happened to
full-time.
Zach?
Zwack is not
Zwack
full-time.
Oh, Cat, you left.
So yeah,
So
I'm always looking for different things to post. The two people that I did interview were available people. If you guys have ideas of people you'd like me to interview that use Repl.it, I would like to hear them.
yeah, that'd be great. But I understand that these guys have schoolwork and things like that. So, but anyways, in terms
it's not
of
like we have school anymore.
yeah, no,
Very true.
it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry.
One second. Let me answer the plugin question, because that's come up before. So yes, we are gonna have a plugin store.
Yes.
In fact, we're gonna start with a theme store. So so we already have a PR up by Faris.
Store? Are they gonna cost
No. It's like a
Replica.
Yeah.
I think the plugins might be monetizable in the future,
Yeah,
but
monetizable.
for
Is
themes,
it gonna use your own API, or is it gonna be the same one VS Code uses or something?
I think we're gonna try to make it compatible with VS Code, but we're gonna have to introduce some more options that are Repl.it specific.
That would be pretty neat. Because
Yeah.
there are a lot of VS Code plugins I would really love to see in Repl.it.
Yeah. And also the what Scoder talks about with Cluey. We're still Cluey's still experimental. We're not entirely sure what we're gonna do with it. Another idea we have is that you'll be able to program the entire site using Cluey, meaning you'll be able to acquire REPLs, manage REPLs, you'll be able to deploy REPLs, you'll be able to create cron jobs, you'll be able to script. So
cron jobs would be really neat.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll be able it'll be your command to basically the entire compute infrastructure of Repl.it.
What
Um,
if you could like choose the Docker image that you use in a REPL? That would be kind of neat.
yeah, I mean, that's
Also,
we've thought about this. It really complicates our infrastructure a lot. The thing about Repl.it that's really important is that it loads really fast. Like so
Yeah.
so we've already kind of made that worse, and we've been trying to make it a lot better. So in the past, like we always said that you could start coding in less than 2 seconds, right? Our 2 seconds
Maxed it out.
Was our sort of our goal or benchmark, but then we've been sort of regressing on that a lot, and now it's like multiple seconds, and we're really embarrassed by how slow. Although it's like it loads a lot faster than any other IDE in existence, right? But it's still sort of like it's not up to our standards. So we're working on performance a lot. So we have this new metric, internal metric. We're not sharing it yet, but it's called TTC, time to code. So we're looking at like what from the second you start a REPL to the second you start coding, like what the entire like lifetime of that is, and we're trying to like drive it really back down and to get like the median should be really a couple of seconds.
I think that I don't really mind it right now because you guys have been adding more features and stuff, and that obviously causes it to take a bit longer to start stuff up. But now that you've added more features, it would make sense to like try to increase the performance a bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like this is the I guess this is always the you have something very simple.
How hard would
and
it be to add sound support to a REPL?
Yeah,
That's
so
a
that's
highly requested feature.
Yeah, I know, but
what kind of REPL?
Like console, like REPLs that aren't web projects.
Oh, you like playing playing a sound from like a Python program?
Yeah, because like at least there's at least 2 or 3 a week asking. There's at least 2 or 3 questions a week on Repl Talk of people just asking how to play audio.
Yeah.
I think you might need UDP for that, and historically UDP has been abused for stuff.
Well, I mean, everyone's seen that thing about coronavirus. All the TCP is being downgraded to UDP to avoid handshakes.
Amjad, I'm just curious, like by the metrics, your analytics, since coronavirus started becoming a pandemic, have your users, like your users online, has your bandwidth increased or decreased?
So both. So
both.
So no.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so no, what I mean to say is we've got more customers, paying customers, because some people are trying to like moving their interviews online. So that's another thing we're promoting. We're writing blog posts about how we do like online interviews using Repl.it. Some of you might have gone through it.
Somebody on Repl Talk was asking if there was a way to manually kick people from a multiplayer Repl because they used it for interviews and it was kind of awkward asking the person they're interviewing to exit themselves.
Yeah, and Faris was like, open the shell, kill one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so that a lot of people are a lot of companies are moving to like remote stuff, and they're checking out Repl.it to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then there have also been like people who want to kick users because like they're being malicious or whatever on the REPL, and they want to kick them, but they can't.
I think some moderation things that you can do in multiplayer REPLs would definitely be useful.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna send out a blog post about kind of how to use this stuff. Someone was asking the downtime. Yeah, so we had a long discussion today about the downtime and trying to figure out. This is a bit embarrassing. Trying to figure out like what the root cause was, and we actually don't know. But we know what the trigger was. So the trigger was Faris was deploying was deploying languages, so he upgraded Polyglot. So Polyglot is the base image for a bunch of our languages. And then the next day, on Monday, we had a big surge on Monday morning. So we had like 11,000 concurrent users, and something happened, and it caused the machines to lock up. And we have some ideas about like why machines lock up. Basically, we have this like pooling system, and so the pooling system basically it keeps containers hot. So we'll have like 10 Python containers ready, and then when you go to Python REPL, we'll like grab one of those containers and then like put your files in there or whatever, and then like give you that container. So it shaves off like multiple seconds from like starting a Docker from scratch, a Docker container from scratch. So what happens is that these pools were hanging. We don't know why, but they were like they can't start up a Docker container, and then they wait for 10 seconds, and then the queue of people kind of waiting for containers mounts up, and then there's something that happens there, and kind of like it's an avalanche of like just system resources getting bogged down, and just things
undefined is not a function.
Yeah, basically that's what's happening.
Yeah, around that same time, there's a weird issue with Julia REPLs where it would constantly like seg faults, and you couldn't do anything on them.
Yeah, so
that might be related.
It is related in that bug went out in Pygame. I think we broke it when Faris did the like mass upgrade of languages.
Yeah, I think we figured out the Julia thing though, because I had sent a PR updating Julia, but then I didn't update it in the file that actually like the script that downloads the Julia files. I didn't think to update that, so that probably caused it.
So what's Matt talking about? Like testing? Oh, Super Whiskers testing in production? We're not really testing in production. Who said anything about testing in production? We just deployed without testing, which is different. It's worse.
You deploy without testing?
Well, Faris did, right?
No, we tested. But
deploy without testing. It is the Tim Chen way.
Also that, yeah. Sometimes we do that. It's faster.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Like our tooling around Polygon and Prybar and all this stuff is still pretty primitive, and so like we need something to do like continuous integration, testing, and all that stuff, and test that against all the language images and things like that. So we're going to be investing in that really heavily. We're adding a lot of people to the team, not a lot, but we're adding more people to the team. We just added someone who invented the recommendation algorithm for Spotify. His name is Dan.
Is he the dude who just added Maven to Java REPLs?
Yes, he's been like really going at like UPM and Polygon and like adding Maven and adding a bunch of. So he's bringing all our like language support up to standard, and then he's definitely going to do like a REPL talk better like feed and things like that. So he's going to be very impactful.
Is he going to be adding? Is he going to be adding cargo support?
Yes. So we're going to just unleash him on all the like languages and like just to bring it up to standard. So multiplayer, what's glitchy about multiplayer?
The user system and the chat sometimes. The chat can bug out.
Oh yeah.
And the users, like sometimes it says like a user immediately joins and leaves or something.
Yeah.
Or I mean the other way around.
Okay. Yeah, we can certainly fix that. Yeah, I know that. That's kind of sucks.
It also might be cool to like register users as having disconnected if their client doesn't send a ping, because a lot of the time like you'll close a tab or something will happen to your internet, and then you'll get like a copy of yourself that you can't control. stuck in the Repl.it.
Yeah, I thought you guys said that was removed like months ago, but it still exists.
Okay, Faris, do you know that?
I'm not sure I heard this.
So basically, like, one of your tabs becomes a ghost user.
That means there's a connection open or something weird. All right, well.
That most
Yeah,
often
maybe
does happen.
we should rely on pings to like drop people.
It's also this thing, not exactly, maybe multiplayer related, I don't know, but TypeScript LSP is just drunk.
Yeah, I'm instrumenting that now. I'll hopefully get it.
Also, could you make it?
Node.js LSP is down?
No, like, it'll just randomly die.
Huh. Okay. So let me finish my thought about just like general stability and bugginess of the platform. Like, we're trying to hire now as fast as possible to grow the team. I mentioned this to some of you. So we just raised the Series A. Don't tweet about it. Don't say it publicly. But
congratulations.
Thank you. We raised $20 million.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Big months.
Clap.
Yeah.
That is a lot of bananas and Skittles.
Many bananas and Skittles. Millions.
We're all about steaks and berries.
Exactly.
Delete the voice recording.
So we're gonna be hiring more people, and like, if you can, tell people about, send them our jobs page, and hopefully, like, our plan is to really make Repl.it production ready this year. And what I mean by production ready is like, we can go out to companies and say, like, you can use this for your remote surgery and people would not die or something. But what did I say there? No, I didn't announce our day on the thing. Yeah, so like, help us get great people.
That reminds me, Amsa, to check your DM. Or Amsa,
I
your
made a call with my mic unmuted.
I will check my DMs. I promise, sometime this year.
It's been years.
So
I can't even
once in
find
a
where
lifetime
DMs are.
occurrence.
I have a question.
You
for the
should
people in the
disable
Twitch
DMs
chat.
from non-friends, and then just accept friends.
Please friend me, Amistad.
For Repl.it users in this voice chat, I have a question for you. A while ago, I suggested to some of the people in Repl.it in my report that, well, who here uses Khan Academy?
I used it for quite a long time.
Or have?
Not really.
I haven't.
I know.
Used what?
Really? Khan Academy.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I used it in like 2010 to study for my IB diploma.
Yeah. It's used for the SAT. Lots of great things. And one of the ways Khan Academy encourages people to use the platform, badges, simple rewards that don't like really have any value, but you can kind of like display and like show off that like you've done all this great work. I'm wondering, would you guys be interested in achievements similar to Repl.it? For example, you might have a badge on your
Minecraft
profile.
advancements.
Yes.
You might have a badge on your profile.
No, actually, do
saying,
achievements. They're
I've
better.
written this many lines of code, or I have used this. I've used a polygon repel. Achievements like that.
I think one important thing would be to like not have those badges appear when you hover over someone's profile, because that could get really cluttered really fast.
Ooh,
So
in the hover,
maybe-
the number of badges. Did the number of badges.
Matt
Yeah, you can have like a number of badges, number of a certain kind of badge. Like how Khan Academy has different kinds of badges or ranks of badges.
Oh,
You
of
can just
course. We'd
play the
have
number
a
of
lot
those.
of different achievements. And this is just theoretical. I was just asking if people are interested, and by the sounds of it, it seems you guys are.
Oh,
Yeah.
can you make it so that you can like feature an achievement on your profile? It's like one's prominent or something.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. I imagine it'd be fairly similar to how Khan Academy does it, except their achievements are very general. I'm thinking more specific, like video game achievements, like do this objective and score like this points. Use this repel and write this many lines of code.
I think it's a really good idea, but we might have to be careful because I think there's some API that's released that will help you automate some stuff. So maybe if achievements are related to that, then it might get abused.
I mean, you can automate Minecraft achievements.
Well, maybe like an
Yeah.
example would be
Not
create
intentionally.
a number of repls, and if I think there's a API coming out for that, so we don't want that to be abused.
I'm
Then
imagining that maybe you have similar to how on Xbox Minecraft, if you enable cheats, then you don't get achievements. There are probably ways around it, but I'm imagining on Repl.it,
Oh
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
go in to create an API key for Repel, achievements are disabled for it.
Definitely.
Then hold on. Then that So I have a question about if achievements were to be implemented, would cycles be involved?
Oh yeah.
You know,
What number
that-
of cycles is an achievement?
That's definitely. I was thinking that you could actually, if we end up doing something where you can get rewarded for getting cycles, it's either going to work one of two ways. Either if you reach a certain amount of cycles, you get like your badge kind of upgrades. Just like if your rank in a video game increases, your badge gets flashier. I'm imagining it's either going to be that, or you get cycles for completing achievements, or it could be both.
I think that your first option is a pretty good idea, and just in general, I think not being able to get rid of your cycles in exchange for something else is probably going to be something to look at, similar to like Reddit or something.
This is just me, but can we get more page customization?
Page customization. What does it mean?
Like you can modify
editor
the.
themes.
I would
That
like
would
to
be
put
No, more like
what page? Your profile?
yeah, Repl.it
Yeah.
profile page.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like-
definitely. So using
Make them more like MySpace.
Like
page.
have a banner, like let users add a banner or something like on YouTube.
Oh,
Edit
on your
CSS.
profile page? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something that profiles is something we're gonna do, especially around when we release organizations. With regards to achievements, that's definitely something that's pretty cool. I worked on something like that at Code Academy, and it was pretty cool at first. Code Academy is now a bit lame, but when I was there, it was great. And then with regards to cycles, like you're gonna be able to use them. We're gonna release a couple of Chloe commands soon where you can like boost repls. And then we're also gonna release deployments previously known as Repl.site as a Chloe command. So basically, Chloe is gonna be a place where we're gonna add a lot of these experiments and a lot of these things because like they're kind of like niche at this point. So yeah, Repl.site is actually dead. Here's what we're doing though, if you want to know the current plan about deployments.
Yeah.
So here's what's going to happen. Right now, a lot of you, I think Matt does this a lot. The way you do development on Repl.it is basically you'll have a REPL, right? And you'll write some code, and then you'll fork that REPL, and then the new fork, you'll link the domain to that fork, and that new fork is serving traffic from production. And then the next time you want to do any development, you fork that, right? And you have this development REPL, and then so on and so forth. Am I right? Do people do that?
I've definitely done that before.
I've done it. I usually just like have one REPL and work in that, and if I mess something up, then it's messed up.
Yeah. So Matt, you don't do that. I'm pretty sure I saw.
I use history.
But anyways, so what we're gonna
I do that frequently.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make that a process that happens behind the scenes. So you go to Chloe, you do like / deploy, and then you deploy that REPL. Wait, I'm curious. How did they break? That's strange. Okay, I'll follow up with you, Matt. But anyways, so okay, let me finish this. So basically, what's going to happen is that we will a deploy will be a fork of a REPL, and then that new REPL will be fully cached and immutable, and then that REPL will be linked to the domain if you have a domain, and then that one will be the like production REPL, right? And then we will allocate that REPL to a new cluster of servers that we have that are not preemptible. So basically, we will not kick your REPL. We will not turn it off in an hour, right? Now the catch is like this is really expensive, right? So I think it's either got to be limited for free users, or you have to pay for it, or we're
charge cycle.
Or cycles, yeah, something like that.
What you can do is like give
You could do that.
users a preview of it.
What's that? You sound like you're like shouting at me from like the end of the room or something like that. You sound like you're under the bed sheets.
No, my mic was down because I'm wearing a headset. No, like instead of having a paywall, just like I actually wasn't following the conversation completely because I'm doing stuff, but like whatever it is, let the users like have one or two of them free or whatever, and then if they like it, then they can pay for it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll have to think about a strategy to roll it out, but
because what that does is that if someone pays for it and then they don't like it, then they will then they're usually angry. But if you let them try it first, then they'll know whether they want to actually buy it or not.
Yeah, so maybe like a limited set of REPLs you can deploy, and then have to charge for it.
Maybe you get like 2 or
50
something
cycles?
for free plan, and then a larger number for hacker plan, and then you can pay individually for more. I don't know.
Microtransactions?
Michael transactions?
Please no.
Like you get a certain number depending on your plan, and then microtransactions. Well, not really microtransactions.
Too many microtransactions and you'll turn into glitch.
Oh boy.
Or the all-famed EA.
Well, you know, like how Discord deals with nitro boosting. You get 2 boosts by default, and then you can pay yearly for more boosts.
Yeah.
Don't you start with 0 by default in Discord?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you know. I wonder though if we make it easy for you to monetize your apps, and then we take a little bit of cut of that. So I know that Matt, you're making some money from Skyblock. So like maybe we help you make that money, and then like we'll take a bit of cut of that, and it doesn't have to be a lot, and then it's like a win-win situation.
Kind of like on YouTube or something.
So you're stealing money from kids online.
Basically, that's our business model. That's how I got the $20 million. I went to like Silicon Valley VCs, and I'm like, hey, we're gonna be stealing money from kids online, and they're like, oh my god.
They throw their money at you.
Hey Matt, you're getting money from Patreon, but we're not making money. Do you want to move to our platform so we can take a cut of your money?
Yeah.
Patreon takes a cut too. It's actually pretty big.
Yeah.
It's the rational thing to do.
True.
So Matt, how are you making money if nobody just subbed? Oh, they just send you it through PayPal. So like maybe we have a service like that that helps you.
Like GitHub
get-
sponsors?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it'll look like, but I'm thinking like this is really the best because like I really hate. So when I was in the 1930s, when I was your age, when I was making when I was making like apps and games and whatever, I would like host them somewhere, and like hosting admittedly was really expensive at the time. But like when I get a lot of traffic, I'd have to shut it down because like I can't pay for it. And so I think it'd be really nice, and it's still the case. Like if you made something that's really popular, you're gonna have trouble scaling it, and again, it's gonna become really expensive scaling it. So something where we revenue share, that's like better than it's basically better than stealing money from kids online. So revenue sharing.
I mean,
You could just like add a simple API into like the web and node REPLs or something like that, where you could click or flip a switch within the actual REPL settings to add like an API connection to a donate button, which would give like 90% to the user and then 10% to REPL or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's one of the ideas.
Will you like send invoices to people who are using PayPal donations or something? Will you go and hunt them down?
Yeah, we'll have an enforcer, and we'll buy him a shotgun.
I really wish REPL Store was still a thing. Like I want that perfect database integration. That would be amazing.
Yeah. So all that is gonna happen. But you know what they say, God created time so that not everything happens at once. But anyways, no, that's really the plan. Like, I don't know when. The thing about REPL Store though is that we really want to make it fully integrated, fully baked. So REPL auth right now is nice, but even that is kind of clunky to integrate it. It should really be like import auth, import pay, import store, and then like all these things should just work.
REPL auth bugs.
Yeah, REPL auth is like completely broken on Brave and Firefox.
And when you're not using and Opera, but also when you're not using a like when you're not logged into an account, doesn't it just like crash? And then if you change the location of it by forcibly through CSS, it just changes the actual panel. But then like some of the things on it,
I've fixed the issue where it crashes if you're not logged in, and with regards to Firefox, the reason it doesn't work is because it's like iframes and do not track stuff.
Yeah.
So I made a new script that opens it in a new tab.
Also on
that
Firefox
way
and
it should work now.
REPL.run embeds are also messed up.
I think Repl.run is kind of just messed up in general because it hasn't worked for me in like a while.
Huh.
Is that going to be deprecated or fixed?
No, REPL should work. Like it works for me. It's getting a lot of traffic.
Speaking of REPL Run, when is Rob mode gonna be supported again?
So 6 holes?
Yeah, because like people still have REPLs that used them.
So the best thing that could come out of this is like someone send like a pull request to Xterm.js and add 6 hole support because it was like a hack on top of Xterm.
Well, sure, but like.
Yeah, but Xterm never merges anything. They take like 2 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think there are still issues open that were open, like.
Yeah.
Fire made.
Yeah, that sucks.
Well, what happened to the original code you guys had for it?
I remember we just updated Xterm.js, and maybe that didn't work. I'm not entirely sure. I'll look into it for a bit. Um, but it's just a matter of priorities now. It feels like the server infrastructure stuff is a little bit higher priority because like apps like Mats are really growing fast, and we want to be able to support you guys um, and make sure that the apps work well on Repl.it, and then we'll go back and like fix GFX and Sixel support and like more like games and interactive stuff.
Yeah, like 6 souls being able to use the shift key in GUI repls because that still doesn't work.
Yeah. Wait. So are you gonna come work here this summer? I forgot where we left things at.
I've still been trying to find a place that I can stay at. But yes, I am still planning to if it works out. If it doesn't, would you mind me just working next summer?
Or work remotely. Like I think.
I mean, yeah, I could do that this summer and then like go to you guys next summer.
Yeah.
Because then I'd be 18 and out of high school.
Well, this coronavirus thing might mean that we're just gonna be remote for a while. So who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unless it's like a Chinese government conspiracy.
But yeah, I'm definitely planning to try to work at Repl.it this summer.
Me too.
Prepare for everything Python related to be replaced with Raku. Actually, that was a joke.
Matt, I don't actually believe in viruses.
What?
What the hell? You made coronavirus an official virus?
Wait, so
Oh
speaking
yeah, they were asking me to make it official, and I was like, okay, it's official.
Wow.
We did it, Reddit.
Repl.it mobile.
Yeah, they did it.
We did it, Repl.it.
Yay.
Works great.
Official virus.
Wait, so speaking of infrastructure, were you guys planning to release some REPL Terraform provider? Because I was thinking, like, you guys were having an API that would start and stop REPL, so I was thinking of maybe experimenting with something related to that.
Oh yeah, that might.
So we're standardizing on GraphQL. So even what's it called? Croesus, we think it's too low level. We're gonna wrap Croesus with GraphQL. So you'd be actually able to use GraphQL to like run REPLs and things like that. GraphQL is kind of cursed. Yeah, it sucks, but it's better than REST. And it's easy to build an SDK on top of it, right? Like you made it, you kind of like you take the pain, like some developer takes the pain, you build an SDK, and then other people use the SDK. But we want the point is like we want to just like we want like a single interface for all of our APIs. So you get the files of the REPL, you start the REPL, you stop the REPL, things like that. Now, with regards to Terraform, like maybe you can build a front end on top of that, where it's like a Terraform that then talks to GraphQL. Would that work, Edwin?
Yeah, that's what a provider that's what the provider would do.
Edwin, how do you?
Yeah, that would be.
I think.
I think just something like Discord's API, but like actually good would be nice, because nearly tons of languages have some sort of Discord API, because it's fairly easy to make. So I think that'd be a good thing for Repl.it.
I really haven't looked at it, but the Terraform, what the Terraform gives you, from what I know, it's pretty flexible because it works with a lot of cloud providers. So I haven't really looked at it, but it sounds interesting to.
Yeah, cool. So I think especially like Terraform or something like that would be really useful once we release more like compute primitives. What the hell is this like beverage? Is it really a beverage called?
It's Propel.
Yeah,
Oh,
Propel.
That yum.
It's
Propel is awesome.
it's flavored water.
It's like flavored water, but actually better.
Oh, interesting.
Best flavor.
Okay.
I've
So
also
any other
heard of
questions?
lemon.
I might have to log out in a sec. But any
Yes,
other?
head out too.
Yeah, good talking with you though.
I'll just AFK in the toast channel.
Persistent file system. What Mason's crying over it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it works, but it actually doesn't. But then it still kind of works.
I mean, it works, but please don't like super rely on it.
So it doesn't work.
Yeah,
Well.
yeah.
Why
We
not?
want to eventually get there, but the amount of infrastructure it would take to make it work reliably 100% of the time is just not worth it right now for us.
Why is that?
Just being able to really reliably persist the full file system is really hard, and we do a lot of work to do that while you're working on the REPL. And to make it also work while you're not there is just quite a bit of extra stuff.
I think focusing on making it work when you're there would probably be more helpful to begin with. Because that's what people
Yeah,
notice.
that's what we do right now. So right now, we put a lot of work into making persistence work while you're working on the REPL.
Yeah, so then once you get that like all done, then you can focus on making it work when you're not there, because that's obviously harder.
Yeah, actually, if you do leave a tab open and the tab's connected, it will cause it to be persisted. So
Oh, wow.
that is one crazy hack if
You
you
joke.
want.
Crazy hack is
Can you just
like
open a
the
closest channel and leave that open?
You can, but you have to trigger a persist, and the tab that's left open will persist whenever the file system changes. So you'd have to write a closest client that watches for changes and calls persist.
Honestly, I kind of want to just make that.
Just AFK your shadow.tech on the REPL, and you'll be good for life.
But the real question is like, why do you need that, right? And like most people, and correct me if I'm wrong, but most people want that because they want to store things. So therefore, what if we had a really easy storage service?
I feel like Repl.it is just going to become Firebase, except with an IDE.
I mean, that's really the plan, is that we want to make it so that you can build things really quickly, without leaving your browser, and that means like building the whole app, without leaving your browser ever.
Yeah.
And so that's really the plan, and I mean, we're gonna be different in a lot of different ways. One of the big things is that we want to be like an end-to-end platform. So we don't just give you like one tool and say like figure it out. We want to like really build
glitch moment.
What's that?
Glitch moment.
What does that mean?
You've heard of glitch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like that's basically it.
But how is that? How are they? Are they doing?
Glitch is
storage?
only HTML stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
So how is
like
that?
that's it.
Like how
Yeah, exactly. So how's that related? Anyways.
What?
It's a glitch moment.
Glitch moment.
Yeah.
Code pen moment.
Personal glitch.
Yeah, just say random names like Pepsi moment. Okay.
If you say you're glitching, that just means you're coding with only HTML.
Is
that
Well, like not
or
only HTML, but like only
Just
web
front-end
stuff,
apps.
which like is obviously easy. You can make any web IDE on the web because it's the web.
By definition.
But like supporting more languages than just the 3 web languages is better.
and also like not be designed by 5-year-olds would be nice. But anyways,
Yeah, that would be an added
Damn,
bonus.
shots fired.
I mean, to be fair, you have like 30 different types of buttons. So.
Yeah, yeah. This is just like to variety is better. Have a healthy diet of buttons.
It's by design.
Design systems, design schmistems.
Anyways, so like we were talking about persistent file system. So like I don't think that's actually what people need, but we can get to that if that's what really people need.
I'm gonna break the silence. Is there any news on Repl.it mobile?
Yeah, there is. I think. Well, like Cog's app or like just Repl.it on mobile.
Cog.
Oh, I don't know. I know that Ferris, or I don't know if any of you have it,
Moody.
but Ferris has turned on like experimental mobile interface for Repl.it for me.
Just for you, yeah.
So like, Ferris, you don't mind if I talk about it, do you?
You're gonna have to ask Moody because he's the one working.
Yeah, you can talk.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine to talk about it. It's just it's hard to get right. So I think you gotta take a.
It's an amazing idea. Besides like the graphical glitches, but like basically, it's a full screen thing. So you swipe left or right to switch between the code, the file tree, and the console. And like when you switch to one, it's the entire screen, which is really cool because it's better than having everything squished together. And it really just works well with like phones and stuff.
Yeah, the plan is to kind of fix that and make it so those screens are like so you have the whole like phone screen real estate for each kind of context. It just needs a little fixing because the scrolling is hard to get right.
Yeah, and then it'll, random zooming, and like the editor definitely needs an upgrade. I know that mobile editor is updated to one of the most recent versions, but it still doesn't detect a newer file type, so like TypeScript doesn't even have highlighting on mobile.
Yeah. The mobile editor is great.
Could you add that to like a Explorer or something? Or make a rule for it?
What?
Could you add that to Stager or something like that, just so everyone can test it out?
Yeah, let's add that to Explorers, because sounds like fun.
I mean,
it's a little broken in some cases, but
It's better than the original editor though, because I can actually do stuff.
Okay, I'll turn on for Explorers, but it'll probably get updated like the UI soon to kind of fix the glitches. But I agree, it's better than what's currently going on mobile.
Yeah, and remember to add more highlighting because people on Repl.it will sometimes talk about it. My brother, who uses Repl.it, has complained about it several times because he uses an iPad.
Oh, highlighting to what? Because it's
Like
supposed to be the same editor.
Well, like before the new iOS update that made iPads actually max on mobile, he would complain that the editor kind of sucked.
Yeah, it's hard to get like, I don't know if we want to invest in like a mobile editor written in JavaScript right now.
Well, like that's already what Ace is. Or if
Okay.
you really wanted, like try CodeMirror.
CodeMirror is not better than Ace on mobile, unfortunately.
I was working on it.
Well, on CodeMirror you can. On CodeMirror you can actually like select text and stuff. But on Ace you can't currently.
I know there's a lot of like glitches with just even typing on CodeMirror. I'll give it a shot. I already have a branch with CodeMirror.
Or you could just like make it you could like let explorers or something switch between the two or something.
Yeah, I want to add that for debugging anyway.
Is Repl.it mobile going to support Xbox controllers?
That's an odd question.
That is an odd question. I mean, how do you? Okay.
My iPhone screen is too small to type correctly, and I don't want to keep making typos.
Well,
because an Xbox controller is better.
I mean, it supports external keyboards, but like, why Xbox controllers?
We should support Wii remotes while we're at it.
We need.
Oh boy.
And the Wii remote Nano.
I mean, that's down
It's
to
like
the
one swipe to
operating
refresh the
system.
page.
I did hear someone ask for PS4 support. I don't know if.
Yeah, that's coming next.
Was
As
that
soon as
satire?
React Native adds PS4 support.
Oh yeah, someone was asking for that.
Guys, I gotta head out.
That's amazing.
But
Perfect.
I flipped on the mobile Switch, so you guys can play around.
Can
with
I
it.
also request support for the 3DS?
I feel slightly over.
And my Game Boy.
Actually, I wonder if
we need Nokia support.
All right, guys. Any last words?
Stay safe from coronavirus.
iPhone sucks.